Let's take a minute to talk about divine counterparts and why God separates us. Now, when you understand numerology, this craft, and you understand co-creative numbers, which would be any number that has two digits that repeats the same digit. So in other words, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, and 99. When you understand the co-creative numbers, you will be able to hone in on your past life energies, especially in the case of divine counterparts, because there is always going to be a past life connection. We've been doing this for a while, and we have loved each other for quite some time. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you are able to hone in on heavy past life karmic energy. You are able to hone in on the fact that you have a divine counterpart, and you are able to identify similarities between you, passion between you, power between you. And you are also given information from the universe relative to the number 77. Now, what this means, let me back up a little bit. When we are speaking of divine counterparts in general, we are speaking of spiritually advanced couples, spiritually advanced pairs, spiritually advanced beings individually. But when these beings come together, it's giving power couple, it's giving magic, it's giving spiritual sovereignty. So let's be clear about that. These are advanced beings. And when paired together, they are powerful. But when we are speaking of a 77 pair, we are speaking of two beings that were separated because they chose to wield a darker energy, because they chose to use their power in a darker orientation. Do you understand? Now let's get into the concept of separation in general. Now, when speaking of separation, in accordance with numeric law, we are speaking of the number 1. Think about it. That initial dissension point from source is 0. That initial dissension point, you become 1. That integration into divine counterpart union is 2. Okay. So when you speak of separation, let's backtrack a little. Why do we separate from source to begin with? Separation is a term that can be synonymously considered with growth, with expansion. In order to grow, you must separate, hence hermit, hence isolation. Now, this is important to understand, because what this means is that if you are separated from your divine counterpart, it is a time for expansion and growth. And by honing into the co-creative numbers and being able to receive that sort of insight, to truly be a master of numerology, first and foremost, you have to be tapped into source. You have to be tapped in and have superhuman observation skills and intuition. Okay? It is very closely related to timing. Your greatest divination tool as a numerologist is timing. Is time, is your attention. All of this is in my book. As well as the state of realization and epiphany and being able to marry all of those concepts. But with that being said, divine counterparts are separated for a variety of reasons in accordance with karmic law, in accordance with a need for evolution, in accordance with a need to separate in order for this evolution to occur. Reunion must be earned. reunion is divinely timed. And reunion is perfectly, and I mean perfectly, orchestrated.